Warning, Las Vegas real estate market, instability, implosion, or stability? Find out on the other side. Hey, what's up, everybody? Before I get started, I hope you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to give you a quick reason why. I've been a realtor since 2009. It was not a particularly good time for most people in the real estate market, but for me, I came in and I did very well. I helped a lot of people at that time, and that's how I started building my business. Eventually, I started doing YouTube videos, mostly for listings and to help my clients understand how to prepare for a listing or be, buyer information. And then I was doing neighborhood tours. And along the way, I realized I could offer an update to my clients and my friends and family and so on about what's happening in Las Vegas. So that's what I've concentrated on. And now I've come to this conclusion that I am probably more needed than ever because so much fear-based information is out there. We are living in a time of absolute inundation of information. And when you have all this information, it's great, but some of it is garbage. My channel is not about getting you to watch it so I can get more views, so I can get paid by YouTube. Now, that'd be a nice perk and all, but it's not really what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to help people by giving them the best information possible, like I've said. So I want you to know that about me and where I'm coming from, because some of the information I have may not jive with what you're hearing out there, and it may not even jive with what you internally feel is happening. And I do want you to take note that we all have this emotional bias, and especially when information seems to be getting fed to us, hey, this is happening, we have to be careful about what that's telling us and what our bias wants to hear at some point, because it may just be fear-based. And I'm going to be down the middle on a lot of stuff. I'm not going to tell you that, later on this year, everything's going to be sunshine and roses. Without more information coming in, I'm not going to be able to totally know that. But I'm going to tell you what's happening now. And it might surprise you because I think it does forecast some things going ahead. Now, one of the things that I wanted to start with was cash buyers being on the sidelines. This is happening in Las Vegas for sure. The cash buyers, investors, mostly I should say, have gone down by 50%. Cash is remaining on the sidelines. Are they looking to the end of the year or beginning of 2024? That very well may be what they're looking for. They're thinking that the market is going to have some more sag in it or even worse declines. And, this is where there's a lot of prognostication on what's going to happen and if there are other shoes to drop economically. Will that hurt the real estate market? Of course, it's not going to help it if it's going badly. But I would also add into this, the Las Vegas real estate market or any local real estate market really is not going to be fully tied to, let's say, Wall Street. If Wall Street has issues, does that mean that real estate has issues? And it doesn't always mean 1 and 1 equals 2. It doesn't always mean that. As a matter of fact, real estate could be in a stronger position and Wall Street could be having a hell of a time, a bad time. Again, it's not going to lend itself to people being able to buy homes and have extra cash. That's certainly not going to be the case. But it doesn't mean that just because Wall Street has issues, or even if we have certain economic issues, that the real estate market completely suffers, especially if we get back to better rates out there. That is the thing, folks. Rates are what's in charge. And I've been saying this since basically April of 2022. Rates will tell the tale as we go forward, along with inventory here in Las Vegas in particular. So we want to pay attention to that. The rates are causing people to not be able to afford a home, but they are finding creative ways to do so, such as a buy down. I absolutely recommend a buy down. I'm going to put a link. Rocket Mortgage will tell you right on there what their buy down costs if you want to buy down your rate by 2 points. Okay, so I've had this question come up. What is a buy down? Well, a buy down is a buy down of your interest rate. And it means that for the life of the loan, you can have a lower interest rate than what maybe they're offering up front by paying in advance. And in this case, you see on Rocket Mortgage, it's around $4,200, $4,250 for 2 points. So $4,250, you can knock 2 points off. Now that may sound like some money, like, oh geez, you know, but sellers are often helping pay this cost along with your closing costs right now. So this is something to know. I don't think buying is for everybody right now, okay? But if you are in a position, if you're somebody that just doesn't rent, doesn't want to go into this rental market because it's gosh darn awful, or you're coming from California, you gotta move, you're coming from another state, you're moving here, and you want to see if you can make the purchase work out, this may be a good time for you. I believe strongly that this is a better year to buy in than it was in 2022. 2023 is a better year to buy in than 2022. This is where I go out on a limb by saying this, because certainly if other shoes were to drop economically and we really had big problems, which I don't foresee. I mean, look, I'm not an economist, but I do pay attention to as much information as I can, and it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense that we're going to have this big implosion. Now, there are always things out there that could cause that. I mean, certainly when you want to go to the worst case scenarios of like war, I mean, my goodness, yes, war, it would be awful. And that is something that I think, again, people are fearful of. But we in our lives, many of us can recognize the things that we are so worried about are things that just never happen. So I do think that if you're in a situation where you need to do something, you can, and there is a pathway. I would be happy to talk to you more about it. That's something you need to know. As well, you know, per an article in Fortune magazine, Zillow says price declines may be slowing. Well, they actually have been in Las Vegas. So we're seeing that the interest rate impact was a lot in 2022, and so far in 2023, we're not seeing that big impact. Now, in a few days, we're going to see what the numbers are for February 2023 and what happens there. My guess is it's not going to be the prettiest picture, but I think that, you know, we're getting into a more stable zone right now. As far as, you know, like there's just not these big, huge declines in the median price. Again, I'll point to last month, even condos and townhomes went up in price for their median price. So in Las Vegas, we have a lot of potential here. And I think that potential is real. It's going to be realized. I mean, you got a lot of things happening here, a lot of projects, a lot of building. You know, you got the Super Bowl coming next year. And if you want to know if our water is stable, I did a video, my last video. Go ahead and check that out. You might be surprised. Again, somebody who's telling you the real deal on what's happening with the water and, you know, the water shortage that we may be having on the West Coast. That we are having. We are having a water shortage on the West Coast. That is something you can know for sure, but there are things to know about what Vegas did to help that situation. And if you were worried about it as somebody coming here, that's what you want to know. As I said, Zillow is saying that price declines may be slowing. They're seeing that across the board in Vegas, for sure it is. And right now, it's very much rate sensitive. If the rate's high, like it did click back up, it's just under 7% now. So that's going to shock people out of buying, right? You know, in most cases. But if you feel like you can get into the market, get a lower price on a property, get the seller to pay your closing costs, get the seller to help you buy down your rate, maybe even pay for the whole dang rate buy down, and ultimately get into a property that's comfortable at, you know, your mortgage rate, then you're not making a mistake doing that. That's how I feel. I feel very strongly about that, because check it out. At this time last year, you would have bought a property and had to cut off your left arm to make that deal happen. Paid through the wazoo, pay above appraisal, you know, in a very upswinging market at the height of the market. By April, it was the height of the market, May, I believe, April, May. And then you would have watched what the Fed did, which was raise rates, you know, faster than ever, and watch your equity go down. Watch the price of your home, the value of your home go down for the rest of the year until this year. So now when you see more stability happening, this is where it gets very important to check out what's really going on? How much do you think this is going to affect things in the future? Are you really believing that the economy is going to fall apart and that housing will go down the tubes with it and that we're going to see these major declines? I think some of the people that are out there spewing this stuff out, it's irresponsible for many people to do that. There was somebody who came into town in Las Vegas and did a video. There's a guy who's got a lot of followers, did a video about Las Vegas and how they're building everything and nobody's buying. His information is just wrong. He's just wrong. He wants people to watch that video because that's how he gets paid. There are agents out there not making any money making sales. And so they figured out, hey, I can go into YouTube and come up with catchy things that catch people's eyes and tell them what they want to hear about how there's doomsday on the horizon. And now they're getting all these views and they are literally making their living off of you watching them. If somebody's positive about the market and then you go out and based on what you've heard me say, and you go out and make a purchase and things fall apart, now you're turning around looking at me like, hey man, you told me this was all going to be good. Let me put a caveat on things here. Of course, I'm not promising anything. I'm just trying to be reasonable here. These people that are going to be very, negative on the market, they don't have any repercussions. That's why they can do that. I'm happy that you're watching me, but it's not because I'm sitting here thinking I'm going to be some famous YouTuber. I will reiterate over and over again what's important to me, and that's getting it right for you, because the things that I'm saying will come back to haunt me if I'm dead wrong. That's the truth. So rate buy downs, everyone's doing it. You should be too if you're considering buying. Now, if you're thinking about selling, I think that one of the interesting things right now with all the fear out there is that sellers have been just scared out of their wits to even bother selling. They're just thinking, you know what, I'm not going to get offers on my property. I shouldn't sell right now. And, if you've got a 3% interest rate, really nice interest rate, whatever, even lower than 3 or even in the 3s, even in the 4s, you may not be wanting to go out there and sell your home just so you can buy into a higher interest rate. You'd have to tell me why you're doing something before I would say, yes, you should do that. Okay. But other people who do need to buy or sell, I think the fear out there is causing a lot of, lockup right now. This actually may be good. This fear that's out there of people putting their houses on the market, it's keeping inventory relatively low, and that will add to stability. Last year, I talked about the reason why the market was going up, and so did everybody else, was because of low inventory. Well, if we have relatively low inventory, even with really low buyer activity, it still will create a stability trend. That's what we're looking for. We don't want desperate sellers out there, okay? If you're a seller and you have to sell, sure, make the right moves to make sure you get your property sold. And that's what I'm here for, to help you do. But those people that are out there saying that there's going to be this big influx of people that absolutely have to sell, I don't know where they're getting that from. First of all, the investors have stopped buying. Okay, so they're backing off the market. They're 50% down of their buying that they were doing. And this is a no duh moment, okay? There's people talking about investors as if this is some crazy thing that's happening. No, they're seeing what's happening and they're saying, you know what, this isn't a really great time. And unless we can pawn shop a house, which means get it at a super great buy and then resell it, they're just not going to buy property right now. That's a no duh. Okay, that's not like anything that should be dictating that they're in trouble. As a matter of fact, they're making a smart move for their own portfolios. Okay, well, let's not, start investing when everything is in a changing market. That's the investor side of things. But for you as a buyer, it means less competition. Before, there was so much competition, so much heat for these properties, and the investors were part of that heat. Okay, now that's not there. So what your question might be is that when should you get in if you're a buyer to this market? Well, I would say before these investors start popping back in as well. So, the big key change might be, hey, we're going to see interest rates start falling. If you start seeing the Fed talking about that, which I don't think we're going to see for a little while, then, I'm going to say buyer activity is going to perk back up. Everybody's going to be like, okay, now's the time. But guess who else is going to be there waiting? Investors. Investors will be out there, and they will be part of your competition. All of this said, I just think you have to be very careful about the information you're getting out there. And if it is important to you to get into a home that you're not renting, that you're buying, you may need to make a decision that sounds tough right now. But I think it's relatively easy when you really analyze things. So talk to me when you're ready. I hope you got what you needed out of this video, and check out the next video I have will be a market update on what exactly happened in February. We're going to get those numbers and I'm going to talk about them. We're going to see if I'm right about the trend that's happening, or if indeed we start to see some really big changes happening, something that we would really have to be warned about. Okay, so like, subscribe to the channel. Please give me a comment if you have something to say. If you think I was wrong about something, I'd love to hear it. If you think I was right about something, I'd love to hear that too. If you made it to this point in the video, give yourself a gold star. You rock. I will see you on the next one. And remember, I'm Rob Howe, and I'm all about houses and you. Have a great day.